You see wall art like this, and this all over Etsy, and there's a reason it's everywhere. These designs are trending right now, and some of them are pulling thousands of dollars every single month. Here's the thing, you could create and sell these in under an hour, even with zero experience. And I'll also show you how to create product photos and videos that actually make people stop and buy. I'll be honest, I kind of went down a rabbit hole trying to figure out where this style even came from because I kept seeing it everywhere, Pinterest, Etsy, all over my feed. It's playful, a little retro, very Mediterranean, think food illustrations, handwritten fonts, soft warm colors. It's very aesthetic. So I decided to try and recreate it myself, and that's exactly what I'm walking you through today. To do that, we're using Kittl. If you've seen my videos before, you already know this is a design platform I use. And honestly, if I could gatekeep it, I would, but that's not what we do here. You see, designs like these look simple, but they actually involve layering textures, mixing typography, getting all these little details to work together, and that can get really tedious in other tools. Kittl just makes it faster. Everything's built in and intuitive, so you spend less time figuring out the technical stuff and more time actually creating. Now, if you're not sure where to start, this is honestly my favorite part. Kittl already has thousands of templates built into the platform, and you can use any of them as your starting point. Now, I'm telling you, the templates are next level. Some of these genuinely look like they took a designer hours to make. I mean, just look at these. Now, I already went through Kittl's graphics library ahead of time and handpicked a few elements that I think perfectly match the vibe we're going for, just to make this process smoother for you. And honestly, their library is massive. Illustrations, textures, you name it. Thousands of options. But here's what I landed on for today. First, these beach risograph elements, love these. Then I found some food and beverage risographs that fit perfectly with that whole Mediterranean kitchen aesthetic. I also grabbed these wonky florals. This style has been showing up everywhere on Etsy lately, so we're definitely incorporating these. And lastly, these line textures, we're going to layer those into the design to add a little depth and that textured feel. So these are our building blocks. Let's start putting it together. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is create a new project. From here, just select poster to get started. So I'm starting with a cream background, and now I'm going to add some text. One thing I really love about Kittl is the font library. Thousands of options, and they're actually good. I'm going to go under handmade and find something that fits our vibe. This one, it's called Doodles Mid Dance. It's perfect. I'll type out my text, change the color to pink, then add a block shadow and switch that to red. Offset is set to 3, angle to -180. I'm adding the rest of the text so it reads Kiss the Chef. Then I'll tilt the word slightly and position everything so it fills the page nicely. Now here's where it gets fun. In Kittl, you can actually adjust each letter individually. If I go into Transform and click Distort, these control points let me reshape the letters however I want. This is honestly one of my favorite features. Normally, you'd need a much more advanced tool to do this, but it's just built right in here. So I'm going through each word and tweaking the letters slightly to give everything that same playful loose feel. You can really distort these however you want. I'm being a little exaggerated here just so you can see how flexible it is, but you get the idea. And we already have our first poster in just a few minutes. Okay, poster number 2. This time we're starting with one of the textures I pulled from Kittl's library earlier. I'll just click on it and add it straight to the artboard. Now I'm bringing in some rectangle shapes, and this is where the vector tools come in. Same idea as the text, you can grab the control points and reshape things however you want. What I'm doing here is lightly tweaking each rectangle so they feel a little uneven, a little imperfect. That's what gives that playful handmade quality instead of looking too clean. I'll adjust the blue and cream to shades I like better, and now we're adding text. For this one, I'm using a font called Sunship. Honestly, one of my favorites in Kittl. I've been looking for something like this for a while, and I was so happy when I found it here. Same treatment as before, pink text, block shadow in red, offset 3, angle -180. Now here's a detail I love. Certain fonts in Kittl have glyph options built in, which means you can actually swap individual letters out for different variations. So I'll select this A and just pick a version that feels right for the design. Small thing, but it makes a big difference. Then I'll scale the text up, tilt it slightly, position it, and that's poster 2 done. For poster 3, I'm starting with another texture from the library, just changed to this warm yellow tone. Now I'm bringing in some of those beach risograph elements we grabbed earlier, this ice cream and these sunglasses. Both from the same set, so they naturally feel cohesive together. For text, I'm adding gelato in a smaller size scattered around the poster. The font I'm using is Florida Vibes. It just has that perfect playful summer energy that fits this whole vibe. I'll adjust the color, then just duplicate it and place it around the design as a filler element. It's a small detail, but it really ties everything together. And there's poster 3. Now for poster 4, we're bringing back that same shapes technique from earlier. I'll add some rectangles, reshape them so they feel uneven, switch the background to cream and the lines to this mint green. Now I'm grabbing an olive illustration from the graphics library, changing it to green and red, scaling it up and tilting it slightly. For text, I'm using Florida Vibes again, color in red, and this time I'm adding a line shadow for a little extra depth. And the text says all of you, which is so cute. And that is it for poster 4. Now for poster 5, pink background this time, then I'm layering a texture on top. Now I'm bringing in one of those food and beverage risograph graphics we pulled earlier, this mesh bag filled with fruits. I'm scaling it up and centering it because this one is really about letting the illustration do the talking. For text, I'm keeping it minimal, just fruit market and the font Fancy Kids tucked into the top left corner. Enough to add detail without competing with the graphic. And that's poster 5. Oh, and here's another really cool thing you can do in Kittl. You can actually change individual letters in a single word to different fonts, which is something not a lot of design platforms can do. So for example, with Fruit Market here, I'm going to go through and change every single letter to a different font. As you can see, it's creating this really unique mixed typography vibe. But it doesn't stop there. You can also change the size of each letter individually and even the font weight. So this one's bold, this one's italic, this one's regular, all in the same word. Normally, to do something like this, you'd have to create a separate text box for each individual letter, which is super tedious, but in Kittl, you can style every single letter however you want, all in one text box. So if you ever want to create something experimental like this, now you know you can do it. Poster 6 will start with a sky blue background. I'm going into shapes and adding this abstract wavy element, changing it to yellow and duplicating it across the page to create a repeating pattern. Now adding text bonjour in the font Adventurer 6, color in blue with a line shadow. Then I'm dropping in a croissant and coffee graphic right in the center. And for the final touch, I'm going back to that distort feature we used earlier and stretching the text slightly so it fills the page better. It's a small adjustment, but it really pulls the whole composition together. And that's poster number 6. Poster 7, green background, same texture we've been using layered on top. Now I'm adding these small white squares around the edges, evenly spaced so they wrap the whole design and create this checkerboard style border. For text, I'm using a font called Chroma Nova, and this one is special. It already has so much character right out of the box. You barely have to do anything to it, it just looks good. So I'm typing cafe con leche, tightening the spacing slightly and centering it. Done. And honestly, this poster is a perfect example of why font choice matters so much in design. The whole thing came together in minutes and it looks way more complex than it actually is. The right font can take the simplest layout and make it feel high-end. That's the power of good typography. Poster 8, and this one is genuinely the simplest of the bunch. One element. That's it. I'm grabbing a single graphic from that wonky floral set, adjusting the colors to match the palette we've been using, and then layering a paper texture on top. And just look at that difference. The texture alone takes it from flat and digital to something that feels way more handmade. I love that. That's the whole design. For poster 9, we'll start with a pink background and line texture on top. I'm bringing in another element from the beach risograph set, then adding text using a font called Salvation, large title at the top that says drink, and then smaller text below that reads happy hour. And remember those glyph alternates we talked about earlier? I'm using that here, swapping the Y in happy for an alternate version, just to add a little extra character. That's poster number 9. And there it is, all 9 posters together. I am genuinely obsessed with how this set turned out. This is exactly the aesthetic that's trending all over Etsy and Pinterest right now, and you just learned how to make it. But we're not done yet, because like I mentioned at the start, I'm also going to show you how to create product photos and videos. And the coolest part, it all happens inside the same project. So I'll select one of the posters we just made, add an image board, type in a prompt describing the scene I want, and hit generate. And just like that, a product photo. I already generated a few variations so you can see the range. One where the art is leaning against a wall, a close-up, one styled with plants, one by a bed, one even with a blurred person walking past. So many directions you can take this depending on the vibe you're going for. And then it gets even better. From any of these product photos, I can add a video board, typed in a prompt, and generate a video. Let me play this for you. It literally creates a full video of your wall art in a real scene. I made a few more just to show you, one where a cat walks by and pauses at the frame, one where someone's taking a photo of the artwork. I mean, come on, this is an amazing feature. If you sell on Etsy, you already know how important product photos and videos are, and the fact that you can generate all of this without ever leaving your project is just a game changer. No jumping between tools, no switching tabs, everything is right here. And if you're not sure what to write for your prompts, Kittl actually has tutorials built in with prompts you can copy directly. I literally use theirs to get these results, so you really don't have to figure anything out from scratch. You can even just replace this with your own product photo, hit regenerate, and it does all the work for you. This is exactly why I keep coming back to this tool, especially for digital product sellers. It just streamlines the whole process and makes everything feel so much more effortless. And honestly, that's just scratching the surface of what you can do in here. You can create PR box designs, product labels, brand boards, design bundles, marketing posters. The list genuinely goes on. So go explore it yourself. You can try Kittl for free. I'll have the link down below. And if you decide to upgrade, you can use my code YALEYT to get 3 months free on a yearly subscription. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It really helps my channel. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!